Well, I'm back. I'm still living the dream here in sunny St. Pete Beach, Florida. I'm aging in place, as it were. Well, today I'm going to make an easy salad dressing that you can make at home. It'll keep you out of the grocery aisle that has all of the prepared salad dressings in it. They're not very good for you, and I'm not going to go into all of the details about why, but if you're interested in that, I have a great book for you. The Fat Burn Fix by Catherine Shanahan, Dr. Catherine Shanahan. Catherine, she was the director of the LA Lakers Pro Nutrition Program for 6 years. So she's the real deal, and it might be worth a read. It might change some of your habits. Not saying you need to, just putting it out there. Okay, so I think what I'll do first, well, let me tell you about this dressing. It's basically an oil and vinegar dressing. We're going to use olive oil and a really good quality vinegar, which I'll show you here in just a moment. And we're going to use some mustard, some honey, and I'm going to take some oranges. I'm going to cut them in half, juice them, put the juice in a pan, and reduce that down till it's about like a syrup. That's going to do two things. It's going to intensify the flavor of the oranges, and it's going to make it a little thicker so you don't have real runny dressing. Well, let me get started by showing you the ingredients that I'm using here. The first is a really good quality extra virgin olive oil. This is a good one. I get this at Mazzaro's grocery store, which is an Italian market here in St. Petersburg. If you haven't been there, if you live in the area, you've got to go to Mazzaro's. Here's the vinegar I'm using. This also comes from Mazzaro's. Let me get that part in here so you can read it. Yeah, there we go. This is a red wine vinegar. Really, really good. It's a little on the spendy side, but hey, I'm worth it. I'm gonna use a good quality Dijon mustard. In this case, some Florida honey. Got a couple of garlic cloves here. And I've got some beautiful Valencia oranges that I'm going to cut in half and juice and reduce down. So that's the basic recipe. I don't think I've left anything out, although these days it's very possible that I have. So we'll keep tabs of it as we go along here. I'm going to prepare these oranges now. I've got 4 oranges. I'm going to start with 3 and we'll just see how well these guys juice up. Okay, let's get our juicer going here. Talk amongst yourselves. All right, let's see how much juice we've got. Oh yeah, that's just about right. Now, I'm going to be making this dressing with 1 cup of olive oil. So 3 oranges, 1 cup of olive oil. I'm going to turn this on now and let it reduce down. And while I'm doing that, while it's getting started, I'm going to take these garlic cloves and get them chopped up. So that's all set to go. Get this guy cooking here. All right, I can see it's starting to bubble around the edges now. So it's just started. Oh, and let me time this. The thing we want to do here is to take this, let it reduce down to get rid of all of the liquid moisture, all of the water out of it, and let it reduce down until it's like a syrup. Now, if you let it go too far, it'll turn into something else, which is like candy almost, like a gastrique. So you don't want to do that. And as like life and like the roll of toilet paper, it goes faster as you get towards the end. So you've got to watch it. I mean, I'm usually doing other things while I'm doing a reduction like this, but I keep a close eye on it. Okay, my reduction is working here. It's gone down quite a bit. We're not to a syrup yet, but we're getting close. It's interesting, you get kind of a candy around the rim of the pot, and it reminds me of when I was a kid. I must have been maybe, I don't know, maybe 10 or 12 years old. We were invited to a cane grind, which is where they take sugar cane that's been harvested and they run it through a thing that squeezes all of the juice out of it, and then they put all of that juice in a big vat. And I mean, this thing was big, at least, you know, to a little kid it seemed big. And as it reduced down, it would form this candy ring around the edges. And of course all the kids were, you know, up there with a stick or with something to get that off, and then you'd eat it. And it was just like, you know, it's like pure sugar, so it was wonderful for a kid. All right, our reduction is just about done. It's gotten so that it's just barely covering the bottom of the pot, and that's what I want. So I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to put it in a bowl. It's going to be way more intense than just biting into an orange. That took 10 minutes exactly, so I wanted to make sure I noted that for you. I'm going to put this in the freezer and let it cool down just a little bit. Okay, I've gotten the orange reduction out of the freezer, and I'm going to go ahead and put that in the blender. So we're going to put this all together now. I want to tell you a couple of things about making an emulsion, which is what we're doing here, where we're mixing unlike items like oil and vinegar. And I learned this from listening to Jacques Pepin, so this is a good tip. When you're making a salad dressing, you don't want to emulsify it all the way. You don't want to get it completely emulsified. You want to have a little distance between the oil and the vinegar. And what that will do is it'll keep you from putting a big blob of dressing and then trying to mix it in. If the vinegar is allowed to get on the lettuce leaves without being fully emulsified, it'll be a much better salad. So I've got the orange reduction in here. And oh, and one other thing I want to mention is that's what I just told you is for a salad dressing. Now, if you're going to use this as a finishing sauce, which you can, it works great on seafood, you can go ahead and emulsify it all the way, because you're going to just use a little bit of it. You drizzle it on, you know, a piece of fish or around the edges, maybe something like that. I have the orange juice reduction in the blender. I'm going to put the garlic in, and I'm going to put the honey and the mustard in. Now, we have 3 oranges we used to 1 cup of olive oil. And with that, we're going to use 1 tablespoon, 1 healthy tablespoon of honey and 1 healthy tablespoon of Grey Poupon mustard. So go ahead and do that. Let me get my tablespoon here. So a nice healthy tablespoon. And a nice tablespoon of honey. Another important thing to do with this dressing, because we have a lot of acid in this dressing. We've got the oranges, the honey is an acid, the vinegar is an acid. This salad dressing needs some salt, so let's go ahead and we'll salt it up front here. I'm going to put a good amount of salt in. That's probably about maybe a teaspoon. And I've got some pepper here that I have ground up. Put that in. And with a dressing like this, you're going to want to taste it along the way. So when you get close to being done, you want to give it a taste. Okay. Now let's put in the vinegar. Now with the oil and vinegar, the proportions on that vary depending on, you know, what salad dressing you're making. I'm going to do 4 to 1. I'm going to do 4 olive oils to 1 vinegar. Now you could do 3 to 1, but I think because I've got so much acid in here, I'm going to limit it to 4 to 1. So let me get that going. So 1/4 cup of really good high quality vinegar. All right. Now we're ready to go with the emulsion. Now, because this is going to be a salad dressing, when I get to the end of my oil here, I'm going to just go ahead and pour it in, zap it for just, a few more seconds. Okay. All right, there we go. I don't know if you can see it, but you can still see a little ring of oil around the edges there. So it's not completely emulsified. Let me taste it. My favorite part of doing this. Wow. It goes on kind of velvety on your tongue. You taste the orange, and you taste the vinegar, and you taste the oil. And then it kind of hits the back of your tongue, and the back of your mouth gets a little tiny burn. And boy, that's good. Now this dressing you can make ahead of time. You can keep it in the refrigerator for 3 to 4 days. Actually, I think you could probably keep it in there longer. I don't know why not. I've got my salad put together, just a nice spring mix. I've put some carrots in there, and I'm going to put in some walnuts for a little crunch. I don't know about you, but I like crunch in my food. And that's going to be it. Now, this is another one of those little tips that you may or may not know, but let me tell you whether you do or not. When you put the salad dressing in, we've talked about not emulsifying it all the way, but the other thing you want to do is pour the salad dressing around the edges of the salad bowl, like this. Bring it into the center. So rather than just plopping it down in the middle of the salad, in which case you will have some of the salad will have more dressing on it than other parts. This way you get a nice even coating of salad dressing. And I'm going to salt and pepper it and give it one more toss. Right. And there we have it. I hope you will try this. Try it with some other citrus fruits. See how you like it. But the basic thing to remember is we did a 4 to 1 ratio here on olive oil to vinegar. We did 3 oranges. We did a tablespoon of mustard and a tablespoon of honey and salt and pepper. That's it. That's all there is to it. All right. I hope you'll make this, and I'll see you next time around.